Beavercreek Rotary Club. I'd like to thank our readers, Dave Dust and Charles Kerr, probably getting some food right now, or Eric, for basically everything he did this morning. Beth is not here, so I can't thank her. I'd like to thank Pete Bales, Mark Weinstein, and Mike Swick for the great programs, Jim Gendel for the website, and Danny, if you're ready. Okay. Yeah. Good afternoon. Please join me in prayer. Oh, Holy Creator, we gather in this Rotary meeting. We're reminded about the strength that lies in unity. We come from different backgrounds, professions, and beliefs, but we stand together in our commitment to serve. Bless us with the wisdom to work harmoniously and the empathy to understand one another. In unity, we find the power to make a difference. Amen. Thank you, Jenny. Secretary's report.
Yeah, one guest, Abby,
Welcome, Abby.
and
You're, I don't think you're much of a guest anymore. You're kind of a president.
yeah, and just so everybody knows, the gentleman that just walked into his pond, he is a member.
Yeah.
He's out here.
And Christopher later, he was late. Actually, no, he did a pretty good job yesterday with his presentation at the high school, so that was maybe we had a little grace there. Hadley, Sergeant at Arms. We're down.
Thank you, Don. And I'm sure this will be no surprise, even like I'm lenient on the being late fine. I'll get you another way for fine. So, all right. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Our one guest and incredible speaker who will be up here later. Today is August 9th, also known as the 222nd day of the year, which makes us 61% of the way through the year. As far as member birthdays, we got 3 of them, all on August 13th. We have Dennis Jardy, Colin Kowalski, and Alex Zahara. Just to let you guys know, August 13th is also National Filet Mignon Day. So if you do go out for your dinner, let that special someone know that you have.
I'll tell Michelle.
Exactly. Yeah. Partner birthdays. My Canadian's wife is celebrating a birthday on August 10th. Member anniversaries, we have 2 people celebrating 1 year, Deborah Gross and Ryan Rushing, both 1 year on the 14th. And then wedding anniversaries, Paul and Stephanie Brunnan are celebrating 29 years on the 11th. Moving on to some good things that have happened on this day in history. 1930, Betty Boop makes her official cartoon debut in the Dizzy Dishes cartoon. 1944, Smokey the Bear made his debut, and we all know what he stands for. 1969, a legendary photograph on Abbey Road walking across it took place. 1988, a guy named Wayne Gretzky was traded to the Los Angeles Kings, and I think he did pretty well there. And then I got to end it on a good Olympic note. 2016, Usain Bolt wins his 3rd consecutive Olympic medal in the 100-meter race. This one was one of his slower races. He only ran a 9.81. If we're looking for some things to celebrate this weekend and week, today we got National Women's Day. We have National Beat Day, which recognizes the session plan of the President of the United States. This also acknowledges the one president who was neither elected vice president nor president. Does anyone know who that is? Gerald Ford. And then also another day that I think most of us love celebrating is National Book Lovers Day. Tomorrow we got National Bowling Day, followed with National Lazy Day. Sunday we have National Sons and Daughters Day. It's also National Presidential Joke Day. So with that being said, who wants to hear a joke? Great, here's the first one. Why don't presidents play hide and seek? because good leaders don't hide from their responsibilities. Now, who wants to hear a real presidential show? What's the president's favorite type of economy? A recession, so that way they have an excuse for their failures. And I heard somebody wants another joke, so here's another one. Why did the president take up stand-up comedy? It's because everything they have done while in office has been a complete joke. Use those sparingly. Moving on to Monday, we got National Middle Child Day. Tuesday is, I'm going to make it an honorary National Beavercreek Rotary Members Birthday Day, since we have 3 on that day. Wednesday, we have National Creamsicle Day, followed by on Thursday, National Relaxation Day. We're looking for some things to do today and this weekend. The Dragons play Lake County Captains tonight at 7:05. German Fest and Miami County Fair kickoff today.
Oh, Lord.
The Sugar Willows event venue down on Dayton Xenia Road, having their grand opening from 6 to 9. That's down there by Old Scratch. Tomorrow, Second Street Market will have their outdoor market from 9 to 3. This one, I'm just relaying the message because my favorite science teacher from high school invited me to this, and I'm slightly offended because it's called Boomer Fest 2024. I'm a millennial. I don't know where she thinks I would enjoy Boomer Fest, but after reading the description, I may go there. It is a free music festival celebrating the rock and soul of the baby boomer era. There will be food trucks, local vendors, a great selection of craft beers, cocktails, and free kids area. And again, that's going on from noon to 10 p.m. on Saturday. Moving on to Sunday, the Artisans at Garrington House on Dayton Xenia has their farmers market from 12 to 3. We have Pups on the Patio at Wandering Griffin and Brewery. Special note from 3 to 7 p.m. during that event. Death Grip Donuts will be there, and if there is any donuts in the middle of an afternoon, I take it as a sign that those got to be some really good donuts. For all of our political people, the Montgomery County Republican Party will have their summer picnic from 2 to 6. And then Dave, this is going to be right up your alley. The first ever Jeep Lifestyle annual event will be taking place at Kings Island on Sunday. Proceeds from tickets will be going to those who receive services through Warren County's Board of Development. So you can buy tickets, enjoy the park, and then there'll be a nice little meet and greet and hang out at the parking lot.
Sounds good.
And then moving on, Wednesday, our friends at the chamber, our friends at the city council will be doing their community conversations at On Par Entertainment. Thursday, our friends at the chamber will be doing their business links at Siebenthal's. Also, if you like legendary country singers that still have an incredible head of hair, Travis Tritt will be at the Rose Thursday at 8 p.m. So now that I'm kind of getting my feet wet with the Sergeant at Arms role, I understand why I gave it up. With it being the year of the Olympics, there's just way too many awesome stories to share in such a short period of time, and it's tough leading through them. So I'll run through some of the cool ones, in my opinion, from this past week. So standard update, USA obviously dominating 103 total medals, 30 gold, first place in both of those categories. Recently, a guy named Steph Curry helped the U.S. Maintain the quest for gold as he scored 36 points the other night, which isn't that hard since 9 of them came from three-pointers. We had 20-year-old Ahmed Eloy, who became the USA's youngest wrestler to win a gold medal. She's also being called the young GOAT, and legitimately so. She's already won 9 world championships across the under 17, under 20, and under 23-year-old age division. Keep in mind, she is only 20 right now. She won gold twice in the senior age division and became the youngest to do it at 18. She has not lost an international match since 2019, and since then has gone 41-0 and has outscored her opponents 322 to 16. Any people that understand wrestling knows that that's absurd. In this Olympics, she went 4-0. She outscored her opponents 31-2. Those 2 points against her came in her first match. Also, after all of her matches, she now has scored the same, in her first 2 matches, she scored the same amount of points as all of her combined in the past 5 years.
Wow.
So she probably has a good career ahead of her. So when Dion turned 16, like most parents, I experienced all the nerves and stress that came with your young one learning how to drive and all that comes with it. 16-year-old Quincy Williams is giving his parents a more unique experience as he became the youngest track and field Olympian this morning, running the opening leg of the 4x400 relay. I'm sure all of us were up before the sun to watch this. For those who did miss it, didn't have a good start, but they did end up qualifying for the next round. When I watched it, I had that same thought. He's not doing too well, but then I realized he's running against people who are older than him and been running probably longer than he's been alive. The fact that he's up there competing and going on to the next round is pretty phenomenal. Speaking of high schools, did you know the last time Woodrow Wilson High School did not have an alumni in the Summer Olympics? Truman was president, gas was 26 cents a gallon, and credit cards did not exist. That was back to 1952. Of those athletes, they have won 9 gold medals, 12 silver medals, and 7 bronze. So I'm going to look to our city officials. If you can find out what is in their water and bring it to Beavercreek, I think that'd be a pretty good idea. We also have Gabby Thomas. She shocked the world by taking the gold in 200-meter race for USA. What's notable about Gabby, or she went on to gold medal. She graduated Harvard at the age of 22, where she studied neurobiology. She also got an undergraduate in global health. Last year, she completed her master's degree in, I won't attempt it, but it has something to do with diseases and health. And in her free time, she volunteers at a clinic for the uninsured in Texas. Then we have Katie Ledecky, who we spoke about last week. This week, she became the most decorated U.S. female Olympian by winning the gold in the 800 meter, marking her 14th Olympic medal. Now, if you remember, I spoke about her dominance in the 1500-meter race, where she had the top 20 fastest times of all time. Sadly, she's not that dominant in the 800. The time that she got to win the gold medal this week only puts her in the top 16 fastest times ever. You want to guess who has all 16 of the fastest times ever in the 800 meter? Katie Ledecky. More impressive, 41-year-old heavyweight Cuban wrestler Mayan Lopez won his 5th consecutive Olympic gold medal, making him the only Cuban to win 5 gold medals in the same event. So if you do the math, he started at the age of 21, and every Olympic that he competed in has won the gold medal. Now, this one is my favorite one. So American athletes who get a gold medal get paid $37,500, which doesn't sound like a lot, but also they have a chance to be on the box of Wheaties, which is pretty cool. But a gentleman by the name of Carlos Yulu from the Philippines became the first male athlete to win a gold medal from their country. So here's a list of what the Philippines are giving him as a reward. So the standard, and this will all converted to US dollars, standard reward of about $173,000 he will be getting. A real estate company has promised him a fully furnished 3-bedroom house that's valued over $400,000. The Philippine House of Representatives will award him another $103,000 in cash. A gastro clinic has offered him free consultations and colonoscopies for life. Hey, later on in life, that comes in handy. He also is receiving a lifetime supply of mac and cheese, ramen, and grilled chicken from various restaurants. A wedding photographer has promised him free services in the future. And many restaurants are giving away free meals to anyone with his first or middle name. So, moving on to today's fines. If you have still not watched a single second of the Olympics, that's $1. Ooh. If you have not read a book this year, that's $1. If no one in your family has a library card to the Greene County Library, that is $2. If you're not wearing your badge, then that's $1. If you were late, even if you're a state rep, that's $1. And if you don't have a happy buck for today, that's $1.
Great, Chris. Wow. Happy bucks. Who's happy? Brian.
I'll throw in
promotion dollar. My band's playing at the Inglewood Arts Festival tomorrow from 4 to 6 at the Centennial Park.
And if you've never heard his band, they're actually pretty good. David,
$5 I put in there. They finally found that low life that tore up Rotary Park's bathrooms.
yeah,
He's arrested. He's the same kid that carried a gun into school, high school, an air gun, a couple of years ago. So I'm glad they got that guy and hopefully he pays his due.
I think when he said it's man syndrome, you say I did it. So, yeah, it's amazing. Happy bucks, more happy to it. Somebody else is gonna be happy.
So Wednesday, Jacob leaves for Ohio State University and I am one kid less in the house. It's a big day in the house.
Oh, that it is. Yeah. Sure.
Speaking of kids and universities, Wednesday, I was fortunate enough to attend the professional day for many university, which is a pretty cool. It's here in Wright State. They've got one over at Miami University in Oxford. They've got a couple in Dayton. We gave away 3 Carol Piper Memorial scholarships for $1,500 a piece.
Wow, very good. That's worth being happy about.
So this is a second happy buck. Piggybacking on Paul Otten, they had their opening day ceremony the other day. Mayor, some of you were there. Wonderful event. You know, we get to hear the marching band play, the choir sing, and some funny stories. So that was a great time. Thanks, Paul, for inviting him.
Yeah, I got so excited I almost went back to school.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Good night. What's up? Not very many happy people here today. Oh,
So tomorrow, as a reminder, is the Dragons game for Rotary. Probably one of the only Dragons game I go to every year. I take my granddaughter this year when we told her she ran, got her hat, her shirt, her stuff. So it's always a good game. It's 7 o'clock, so it's usually cooling down a little bit.
Yeah, tomorrow's supposed to be one of the nicer days that we've had in a while, so. Yeah. Eric,
Happy Buckers. I really like the tax holiday that we had the last 10 days. I also had and found out I had to audit all of the receipts that I got from the businesses when I bought things. Because some of them didn't realize that they were supposed to not charge sales tax, particularly restaurants. And especially the restaurant where I went to where they're not supposed to charge tax on the food, but they are supposed to charge tax on the alcohol. And they did it in the reverse.
well, no, you'd be right all over them on that one. Make sure they got it right. So, anyone else? Joe?
So last week, Jen and I went to Alaska. That was a blast. It was so much fun. The glacier is amazing. I didn't think I'd enjoy it, and I can't wait to go back. And then my other dollar is Junior has his first soccer game tonight in Sullivan's.
All right, well, very good.
I do an IOU, had a good time Tuesday night at the National Night Out. Fire department was invited out with the police department and chief is not here. So, yeah, we had good turnout and good hot night there.
And the rain held on just enough. Yeah, just enough. So, anyone else? Chicken dry.
You did your listen, Sean.
Just like it's good. That's great.
My number is 169-037. 169-037. Okay. So there else. Let's go to first of best in the program, and it looks like Shannon is trying to throw that right to us. Here's your payoff.
Shane. Come here.
Hot rooms, little white rooms. Very good. Any announcements for the club? Though we were going to go on about the Dragons game, so that's good. Try to Got your tickets, look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Anyone else? Very good. Our speaker today is Jeff Rock, from the Gala of Hope. Jeff joined Gala of Hope Foundation as executive director in November of 2018, continuing his service in the Dayton region nonprofit community for almost 40 years. Jeff spent 22 years at Cedarville University in advancement and public relations and served as executive pastor at a local church for 6 years. And most recently served as president of Green Medical Foundation, the philanthropic arm of Green Memorial Hospital, Xenia and Soy Medical Center. Beavercreek, yes. He lives in Cedarville with his wife Betsy, and they have 4 sons. Please welcome Jeff Rock.
Thank you, Don. Eric, are we good? Good. All right. Well, thank you all for inviting me. I see many friendly faces. Mostly friendly, Mike. Thank you for being among them. And I must thank Sandy Brubaker for inviting me. Up until 2 days ago, she forgot she was going to be out playing golf. I already texted her and said, "How was your golf game this morning?" She says, "Really good today." I said, "Not now. Hope for a wicked slice." And entertaining. So let's hope when I follow up afterward that he's taken a sour turn. It's my pleasure to speak to you about Gala of Hope Foundation. I'll make no assumptions that all of you know what Gala of Hope is all about. So I always want to start with at least what our mission is all about, and then we turn this on. Great. Is it working? Oh, you gotta turn it on. This is not being on now. That's right. This one. Got it. Super. And Gala of Hope was formed 10 years ago to be focused solely on local initiatives to eradicate cancer in our communities. So you see our mission is to diminish cancer and its effects on patients, to reduce the number who perish in cancer's grip and ultimately the number who experience cancer. And the overarching vision is to send cancer in the greater Dayton community into the sunset. Everything we do is local. We focus on the 14 counties that are comprised of the Dayton region, that the Dayton Development Coalition would qualify to be in. And we focus on local patients, local treatment, and local research. Why is this so important? Okay, Eric's a couple. We'll start with a little bit of a downer, and then I'll go back to the positive that's happening as a result of what's taking place in our community. You can see right now in 2024, Ohio is number 9 and number 14 in terms of the number of deaths and the number of incidents. This is an improvement, quite frankly, for Ohio because we were number 4 and number 5 in 2023. We don't necessarily want to wish ill on other states who are facing worse prospects than Ohio, but this is good to see that we're improving. However, we will in 2024 see more than 76,000 cases identified and diagnosed here in the state. And you can see the top cancers on both sides of those charts and the number of deaths that will occur this year as well. This unfortunately is an increase. So while Ohio is lower in the statistics when it comes to our other fellow states, we actually see an increase in the state. For many years, we were dropping slowly by dozens of cases, but we were dropping. But 2 years ago, we started to take an uptick. And unfortunately, we're still paying the price for COVID because folks delayed their screenings, they delayed following up with physicians in terms of problems they were having, and thus we started to see diagnoses increase. No matter where you stand on the COVID vaccine, there has been a corollary that has also seen increased incidence of those who have taken that vaccine.
And then, is there a direct correlation? They don't know, but the number of cancer incidents of those who have taken the vaccine has also increased as well. So as a result, Ohio is seeing more in this current year. As we focus in on our region, though, I want you to note that in the 14 counties that we're involved with, lung cancer, or one of the cancers, is the number 1, 2, 3, or 4 cause of death, not the number 1 cause of cancer deaths. It's the number 1 cause of deaths in our community. So this is why Gala Hope, although we are now 10 years into our journey, still plays a very important role in trying to eradicate this disease from our community. And as a result of where our statistics stand today in this community, Greater Dayton community, 25 people heard those words, "You have cancer," today. Come Monday, 25 more are going to hear the same. Tuesday, 25 more will hear the same. And unfortunately today, 9 will have passed due to a consequence of cancer. And that's a statistic that unfortunately went up as a result of what's happening in the state and our community. So as I stand here before you, I have to say everyone in this room has a cancer story. Someone came to mind as soon as cancer was repeated. It may have been you who experienced it personally, family member, an acquaintance, a neighbor, fellow church member, an employee, a fellow employee, someone in your sphere of influence faced this disease or is facing it right now. So we always say everyone has a cancer story, and I want you just to keep in mind that person as we consider what Gala is trying to do to eradicate it in our community. This is why our mission becomes so important, but I want to reinforce to you that this was birthed in Beavercreek. Bob Mills had this passion as a result of cancer devastating he and his family. And when Barbara Mills came alongside him, they decided that this was something they needed to do in our region. There is not another Gala Hope in Ohio, in the Midwest, and as far as I know nationally, taking it on to do something in the community to turn the tide on this disease. And Bob had the vision, and he formed the foundation and brought along some folks to form a foundation board, and they decided they were going to do something about this. So it started in their backyard. You can see here, if you are familiar with Bob, you know he's go big or go home. He had a tent built for his backyard to host functions like this. And this is a picture of the first gala where there were 800 people under that tent who came together to do something locally for cancer that night. And as a result, he raised more than $1 million, more by $5. They raised $1,005 that night to launch the foundation. And we've been blessed ever since to have the generosity of folks behind us as we continue to work together. I always want to focus on the fact that the funds stay local. We have not in 10 years, and I've been involved as a staff member for 6 and as a volunteer for 4. There's never been $1 of Gala Hope to go outside of this community. It has stayed within this region. It's helped local patients, local treatment, and local research. And that is our commitment to any who get behind us, that money will be used right in your backyard, and you will see the result firsthand as a result of what we're doing. One of the things we focus on the most to be able to forge ahead with our mission is to bring the cancer care community together. These are not all of the organizations in our community that serve cancer patients, but it's a strong majority of them represented on the screen. And we are pleased to have been the catalyst to bring all of these folks to the same table. Some of you may wonder, do Premier and Mercy Health and Kettering Health cooperate? Well, I can tell you they do in one arena, and that's in cancer care. Because we've asked them to come to the table and to consider the care we offer cancer patients to be singular in focus. So are they all doing the same thing? Not necessarily, but they all have decided they will cooperate and make sure that if patients have to go from one system to the next, that's seamless. If they have to have complimentary service from one system because it's not offered in a number, they will try to make that seamless. So that we collectively think when someone hears those words, you have cancer, they're going to walk into the arms of a cancer care community. They're not simply going to go to one or the other for specific care. And so we have gathered all of these folks together around the table and continue to have conversations about how we can singularly take care of cancer patients and cooperate and not be redundant. We all have limited resources, and we have reinforced to them that if you cannot be redundant in your service, so the dollar going to you is not being duplicated by somebody else, and it takes $2 to support you, that's a better thing for this community. So we're blessed to have all these partners joining with us. And sometimes it helps when you offer them money, it keeps them at the table. But you didn't hear me say that, right? All right. So let me just share a couple of things we have done to specifically help in the region. First, with Kettering Health. You all may not know that they have a machine that's called a cyclotron. They are one of only 150 entities in the entire world to have one of these machines. We are fortunate to have one here in Dayton. And this was the vision of Virginia Kettering back in 1989. So they brought in the first generation cyclotron and began figuring out what they could do with it. Only in its life cycle of research to discover that it can offer game-changing diagnoses and prognoses for cancer patients. So what does this machine do? Well, it actually creates what are called isotopes. And isotopes can be injected into a body, put under a PET scan, and you can light up a cancer cell as bright as it could be so that a surgeon can determine which cell is cancerous and which cell is not. So when he removes a tumor or a mass of cancer, he actually knows exactly what he's pulling out of the body and what he's leaving in. And this machine has become revolutionary in terms of how you treat cancer patients in the region. We got behind the second generation, and we're pleased that Kettering is working with other systems to make this available to their patients as well, because if you have one of these in your community, it shouldn't just be kept to one system. And one of those is the James that has come and used this as well, because Ohio State does not have one of these. So we're blessed to have it here in our community. Maple Tree Cancer Alliance. This was birthed at Swain Medical Center with help from Gala of Hope. It is now an international exercise therapy program for cancer patients. And we're blessed to have been a part of this. There are over 2,500 patients this quarter who are involved in this program here in the Dayton region, but it is across 47 countries right now, all birthed here in Beavercreek and in Dayton. We got along with Premier to offer free mammo services and mobile mammography. And this is one of the few mammo coaches in the region, and it goes from north, south, east to west, but it's also one of those where it's made available to other systems in the network. So there have been cases where Kettering has held an event, and this machine has been from Premier at that event as well, again, to reinforce the cooperation we're reinforcing. The local research we've gotten involved with has been mostly at Dayton Children's. This region has the higher propensity of pediatric brain cancer, not only in the region, but nationally. For what reason? No one's determined yet. But Dayton Children's decided they wanted to help do something about it. And so we said, we'll help you do something about it. We helped them first develop a living biobank, which is a tumor tissue bank. And right now, there are about 3,500 brain tumor specimens now housed in this facility in Dayton. And now the second part of this is we've created an animal lab at Wright State where they can take tumors and insert them into mice and determine if a treatment protocol is going to change that tumor, cause it to diminish, cause it to grow, cause it to do something more abnormal. And this will allow them soon to be able to do in real time treatment on a child. They will test it on a tissue sample first. to test the reaction before they put it into the child. So this is going to be revolutionary, and now Dayton Children's is one of 16 international sites working in pediatric brain cancer research. So we're pleased to be a part of that too. We preserve fertility. You may not realize that, particularly for children who are now going through cancer treatment, they face sterilization as a result of going through that treatment. So we give children at Dayton Children's the opportunity to preserve their fertility and do that before they enter into treatment. So they're guaranteed of still being able to be a father or a mother later in life if they face that consequence. Maria was one that we helped. In fact, she's the first we know that now, after this program, she's working to have a child now at age 24 after 3 bouts of cancer. But she had this done when she was an early teen and now is still looking forward to being a mother. And lastly, our take on lung cancer. We cooperate with Mercy Health because Springfield has some of the highest incident rates in Ohio. So we partnered with Springfield to develop a screening program that's more robust. And now they're doing about 2,500 screenings on the most vulnerable at Springfield. So they've worked to where they're going to get an annual screening every year. And if they're diagnosed early, they have a more than 90% chance of survival, as opposed to later, stage 3 or 4, they have a 5% chance of survival. So that screening will change the trajectory of their life for sure. Veterans, we focused on them, and we're now partnering with the Dayton VA to take care of transportation and food insecurity for their veterans. Most of them are not in a position to get themselves to treatment or to have good food in their life. So we partnered last year and continue to do that this year. And we even provided boxes of hope that provide good nutrition and particularly in the winter, some winter gear to help them get through their treatments also. Lastly, on the direct patient support side, most don't know that when someone hears the words you have cancer, soon their expenses are going to leap by more than $800 to $1,000 a month. For the course of their treatment, they will face that increase in expense. So we have determined that we will make sure that a patient doesn't have to face paying the mortgage versus paying for prescriptions, or paying for prescriptions versus putting food in the refrigerator, or getting to treatment. So we have come alongside hundreds of patients to make sure that they stay in their homes, the lights kept on, food's kept in the fridge, and they have a way to get to and from treatment. Our average grant is $1,700. You would not think that would make a life-changing difference, but for most, that's the 3-month gap they need to sometimes go from being employed to being on disability. So we cover that gap for that period, so they don't have to worry about where am I going to get the resource to pay my mortgage for a couple of months. You can see on the slide here, most goes toward mortgage and rent. And right now we are more than $75,000 this year. We assume will be about $150,000 by end of year to support patients. But this is life-changing for many, and we're pleased to be a part of it as well. We also started with Right Path Credit Union, a financial triage program. You all also don't realize that the highest percentage of bankruptcies in the United States are claimed by cancer patients. Again, you can imagine paying $1,000 more a month, having to pay deductibles on health insurance, sometimes going right to the maximum. It stresses them out. And in our economy, it only adds to it. So we have partnered with Right Path Credit Union to start getting patients into triage and be able to get them at least counseled help, if not help, so that they can then tell us what the gaps may be, and we can fill in those gaps while they find other answers to some of their other challenges also. So we're doing this with dozens and dozens of patients every month now, and Right Path is just offering it for free. And we know River Valley would want to do that, so maybe there'll be more partners, Jonathan, to come forward later on. On the horizon, these are our 2 challenges. More than 50% of patients struggle to get to and from treatment. That's often because they can't take themselves, or they don't have somebody to take them, or they don't have the transportation to get there and back. This is not only the problem with the Dayton VA, but it is in every cancer center. They are crying for help to do this. So we not only are providing stopgap to get patients to and from, but we're working now with all the transportation programs in the region to figure out a way that there'll be logistical coverage so that if a cancer patient needs help getting to and from treatment, there'll be somebody to take care of them, whether by public transportation, private transportation, volunteer, or otherwise. And we'll right now determine how to create a hub for that logistics so that a patient can call 1-800, get me a ride, and get a ride. And we hope in the next year to have the first phase of that completed. And people need good food. Good food is healing. And oftentimes they don't get that necessarily as a part of their program. And so we're looking for ways to fill that gap as well. You must know that we pivot on a event every couple of years. And as much as I've tried to compel the board to get out of the event business, we keep coming back to an event. And we just had ours on July the 20th. This was our 10-year celebration. And it was Bob Mill's vision that, boy, if Gala of Hope lasts for 10 years, it really should then sustain itself thereafter. And so I've tried to help the board fulfill that vision. And so at our event, we celebrated 10 years. And I just want to share with you the video that we shared with our friends and our supporters to show them what good they have done with the money they've generously given to us.
The support that the Gate of Hope has been able to provide has been extremely important because it's been what Bob Barker wanted. It was the two of them wanting to make sure that local families had the support they needed.
I've heard the words, "you have cancer" 4 times in my lifetime. And it doesn't get any easier, which is why I'm so passionate about what they're trying to do with Gala of Hope, because I am here today because somebody took a bet on somebody's idea. So I'm a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma that had metastasized to my lymph nodes. So a very serious case of cancer. One of my family members said, God just wasn't finished with you on this earth yet. So I have been cancer-free for over 30 years now. I'm truly passionate about the Gala of Hope, having gone through the journey myself and experienced what other people are going through.
In my life, I've been so blessed. And so every day I have this verse from Luke, to whom much is given, much is required. I really believe this, that I've been given so much that I need to give back to whoever God puts on my heart. Gala of Hope has been on my heart for several years now, since 2016. They're helping so many people, and that's a really, really important part.
The Gala itself is one night. You know, it is one night where you get to get dressed up and you can get your hair done and you can go out and you can have a really great time, and you know, you can raise money for a great cause. But the impact of the gala starts in the days after that, when the family who are receiving the benefit of the generosity and the kindness of the donors and the attendees, that's the real impact of the gala. We're doing something that no one else in the community is doing. No one is meeting those housing needs, that, you know, rent, mortgage, no one else is doing that. So when I get a patient that has financial needs, I'm looking at the big picture. Who am I going to send to Gala of Hope? What do I know that they can handle? It's just a good partnership.
One of the great things about working in A is we get to focus on taking care of veterans. You don't know sometimes what you need until it appears. And to have a local, agile charity that can respond to needs really in real time is invaluable. just in the last 2 weeks, I've seen two patients where the Gallup Hope really touched their lives, and both by providing transportation, covering unforeseen costs. My experience has been nothing but, well, positive and a little bit of surprise how easy it has been to get our veterans, our patients what they need when we reach out, the Gallup Hope response.
I am super thankful to be living in this community that came around me when I had cancer. And then we created PRG to kind of offer these services to other people as they go through their toughest battle. We provide free services for your entire family, 3 meals a week for your entire family, rides to treatment, counseling essentials, and peer support. They've impacted us because they showed up in the beginning when we were this big, right? So I mean, our whole budget was like 3 people. So the fact that they invested in that so young and showed they believed in what we were doing was huge for us. So I started Maple Tree in 2011, and for the first 5 years, we were very, very small. And I really believe that the turning point for us was when I was introduced to Barbara Mills and the Gala of Hope, and just really organically started to grow this idea of exercising during cancer treatment, not only nationally, but now internationally as well. I don't believe Maple Tree would be where it is today if not for the gala opening those doors, believing in me and in my dreams, and allowing me that platform to grow my organization.
Having lost a grandchild, it was important to try to find a way to take a very sort of tragic and difficult situation and find some positive. It's about, continuing to provide hope. 10 years, great. Hopefully the next 10 years are even better. The vision about creating this, I think, is what is really great. And so when he and Barbara imagined this, it was different than anything that we've ever been to or even been a part of. So what we hope is it just continues on and continues to build and continues to help more people.
I think it'd be really great if every community in the state had a foundation that really worked on cancer, how we help our families, how we help the doctors, all of these things that come together. So it's an inspiration to every community. I think it's important to choose Gather Club because your money is staying here, is staying local, it's having an impact. And whether that be in research, or whether it's in that practicality of day to day, the aim is to try and stamp out cancer and support those individuals that are going through it. That's where I choose to, focus on because it's staying right here. When communities can work together to support each other, no matter what your walk of life, you can't go wrong. I don't think any family is untouched by cancer. If it's not our own family, it's extended family, friends, coworkers. Since all of us are so impacted by this disease, it only makes sense to band together and be stronger than the force that it is.
I think the Gala of Hope is such a beautiful organization that's doing such a significant work, not just in the research arena, which matters, but in the caregiving and support and advocacy of those like us who actually are in need of that constant hope and encouragement. And I think the dollars that we give to Gala of Hope is actually changing lives. It's just not doing research, it's changing lives. And that's why I would say it's a worthy investment.
Gala of Hope is making the money work. And that's the kind of group that you want to invest in. It's powerful to know that there are people fighting for you. And that's what I would tell people is, there's times in your life when you get to make investments. Why not make a good one?
By being here, by supporting the Gala financially, with any contacts of any of your friends who have knowledge or can have an impact on cancer, that we can make a difference here in the community. My hope within my lifetime that we'll be able to see a cure for cancer, a stop to cancer in our town, and then for other people to look to the community of Dayton and say, what do they have that we don't have? So we can proudly say, we do not have the Galo Pope. If you have the Galo Pope, these things can be achieved.
We're so very grateful, aren't we?
We are grateful.
We hope you have fun.
Yeah,
We've had fun.
yeah.
Let's go do this.
We hope you're cool enough and that you're fed enough. And that when you leave here, you have a lot less money than when you came. And yeah,
Pray that ours are full.
right.
We just want you to know how much we appreciate you.
So after sharing that with our donors and our potential donors and supporters at this event, we were able to achieve $2 million that night, which was stunning. But it only reinforced to us that we're doing something right. And we touched a lot of people, and there's still a lot more to touch going forward. So to date now, we've raised over 7.6 million, and in just a week or so, we're going to announce the first distributions of 500,000. And we hope to distribute more than 1 million before year end and keep going into 2025 and beyond. But we are blessed to have so many folks behind us, some in this room as well. Since 2014, there have been over 91,000 in Greater Dayton who have heard those words, you have cancer. And by all of our calculations, we know we've touched over 30,000 of those 91,000. Our hope is to touch even more and to make sure that they know there's hope, not even on the way, but knocking at their door and hoping that they will recover and fully lead a great quality of life. So we are blessed to be hope givers. I have the privilege of always developing relationships with dozens and dozens and dozens of cancer patients and hearing their stories. You would read this and think this is devastating because Greg here was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, which for most would probably be an immediate death sentence in light of what pancreatic is, and then to be stage 4. I am well acquainted with his oncologist who said, you're going to be in this fight, we're going to be in this with you. And I know an organization that's going to come alongside of you immediately because we need to get you financial help because you're going to go on disability as quickly as we can because your body is not going to tolerate this very well, but we're going to beat it. I had the privilege of meeting his oncologist at our event. And I asked about Greg, and he said he's in full remission right now, and his prognosis is he will beat it completely. Folks, that doesn't happen without a community coming together. And we're blessed to be a part of this journey. So here we are. And we trust to have another 10 years, but thank you for being a part of this. And thank you for being part of a community that saw the vision to do something differently in our communities. So any questions, I'll take that. Otherwise, you're going to be out of here before 1 o'clock.
Jeff,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of experimental stuff that a friend of mine, his wife got lung cancer in this area. She's never smoked or noticed.
Yes.
It was stage 4. They told her months. She went to Israel and got an experimental drug. That cost them a lot of money. Do you guys support like travel to like overseas for those type of treatments? Or
Well, we know that costs a lot, and no, we don't. But we figure out ways to take care of other things in their life, so it frees up resource that they have to put in that direction. In the case of drugs, we now are forming some great partnerships with pharmaceuticals who are working with our cancer centers to make sure that folks have access, and we're growing clinical trials here as well, so that folks don't have to think about going to Columbus or Cincinnati or Indianapolis for cancer treatment. They'll find it here. Chuck?
Yeah, what's the correlation between the lung cancer and
smoking? Is that,
The smoking is obviously certainly a cause. But as Alex just said, here's a non-smoker that was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. Well, there may be a lot of environmental reasons, radon being one of them, and the state has really taken on its a role to try to identify pockets of radon and to get people radon testing kits and that's part of why Springfield has a high smoking rate, but it wasn't just smokers who were being diagnosed. It's probably one of the reasons because they have some high radon readings in their community. And that's why we had to drive the state to also help us address that. So Gayla Pope was privileged to start a lung cancer initiative with the state and get the Department of Health more involved. And we can be thankful that we have a governor that you saw who is very interested in what we're doing and asked us to come alongside and work with the Department of Health to find a way to help those communities. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. God, it's all yours. Thank you, Jeff. Actually, thank you for what you do. That's, I'm seeing some of those statistics. I'm really glad we do that in our community. As always, we do a book dedication for our speaker. Beth brought in the one that's called The Little Things in Life. Probably the most important things you have are the little things. We don't worry about the big things, but the little things are the most important. So this will be in the public library. So if you want to go over and see it, somebody will open up and see your name. Next week's meeting, Glenn Newer is going to tell us about international events and things like that, which Glenn is very good at doing. Next week's greeters, Ryan Rushing and David Brantford. Keep an eye out for upcoming program, beavercreekrotary.com, Facebook page, and is there anything else really good in the club? There will be a board meeting immediately following this meeting over in the grill room. So please, everybody's welcome to join. It'll be quick because 3 of my board members are not here. So,
but Don's fine.
Don's fine.
Hey, I'm here today, by the way.
I see that. We need somebody to take notes. So, all right, nothing else. Everybody stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United America, to the God, and one nation under God, indivisible, liberty. Guys, have a nice day. Everybody have a great weekend. Yeah, good to see you.